Hello, my name is Heather Kari, and this is my audience of three. You can go sit down. According to the U.S. Department of Education, only 80% of high school students graduate in America. You might say that doesn't sound so bad, but when you put it into perspective, out of 26 OECD countries, which is the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, the U.S. only ranks 21st. That means we're 5 spots from dead last. The top quarter of these countries, these developed countries like us, they're graduating their high school students at rates well over 90%. I believe that we can increase graduation rates by increasing literacy rates. And I believe that has a simple solution. Sometimes a simple solution is actually the best way to go about things. And I believe that reading to infants increases literacy. Simply, higher literacy rates begin at home from birth. Just by spending even 15 minutes a day reading to an infant, you can actually raise their literacy rates, which could help our nation as a whole. I'd like to tell you 3 reasons to consider this. My first reason is early reading increases children's language ability and their ability to focus. A study published in the Early Childhood Education Journal states that language development begins at birth. Now, it might seem silly that language development begins before a child even starts to speak, but they do, and the more that they are introduced to new words and stories, and more that they're read to, the higher their language abilities will be as they grow and when they do start to speak. The study actually followed an infant who was read to daily by their caregivers and their parents, and it showed that the infant actually started maintaining eye contact, actively interacting with the reader by attempting to mimic rhythmic sounds at 4 to 5 months old. That's pretty impressive. As the infant that was followed in the study grew, they maintained attention longer and prepared her for progressively harder books as she grew. As she was read to daily, it became a habit, and she got used to her parents sitting down and her parents reading to her, and she was able to sit and listen longer. The more that a child can listen and take in what they're being read to, the more they're going to understand and learn from it. And another article published in the Journal of Applied Developmental Psychology states that there's a direct correlation between the earlier the child is read to and the higher their language and literacy abilities later in life. Since we've already established that language development and children's vocabulary actually develops long before their first word is said, it is important that they're read to, and the more that they are read to, the more that they're going to be able to develop the skills that will make them better readers. This 2005 study found that 8-month-olds that are read to from birth, even if it's just 15 minutes a day, have significantly higher scores than children who are not read to. This is, again, the more we introduce to them, the more they're going to learn. And they actually took tests and showed that 8-month-old infants were actually getting 18 to 16-month-old language scores. That means that they're doubling their ability of their age by just being read to. And that's just in their first year of life. Imagine what could happen, later on. So early reading increases language ability. It also helps them to maintain focus so they can be more attentive to progressively higher level books. My second reason that I think reading to infants is important is it will increase language skills and focus, which in turn creates better students. So reading to infants creates better students. According to the National Institute for Literacy, infancy to 5 years old is a crucial time for children to develop important skills that will ensure academic success in their future. The ability to focus and high language skills means they'll have the tools to obtain literacy skills. And there is a strong link between early reading and later development of literacy skills. So basically, the more that you're reading to your child, the better their language ability, the more they'll take in, and then when they begin to read, the more they'll understand and the more they can read better. Before school children become aware of systematic patterns and sounds in spoken language. By reading to them, they start learning what that means. They'll understand the relationship between sounds and letters and can build their oral language and vocab skills. Now, those skills, the ones I just mentioned, they're actually the precursors to the abilities to read, write, and spell. Now, we all know how important it is to read, write, and spell. And by simply reading daily to an infant, they can be gaining those types of skills that will make them better students. So reading to infants creates better students. My third reason that reading to infants is beneficial is this: better students simply equal better test scores. Early reading increases test scores. According to RIF, which is Reading is Fundamental, the largest children's literacy nonprofit organization in the U.S., reading aloud to children at an early age is the most effective way to develop strong reading skills. It's laying the groundwork for children to be lifelong learners, which equals success in school. Good students are good readers. Research has shown that there is a positive correlation between the amount of time children read and their math and science development. So not only are we creating better readers, writers, spellers, we're also creating better mathematicians and scientists. Early reading can not only raise future reading, writing, and spelling test scores, but it also can improve math and science scores. So early reading increases student test scores. Good students means better test scores, and better test scores simply means higher graduation rates. Let's review. Reading to your infant increases their language ability and builds the ability to maintain focus. These abilities lead to early literacy skills, which means reading, writing, spelling, math, and science achievement, which makes for good students. It's simple, simple math, actually. The better the student is in those core areas, the better their test scores will be. Good test scores means higher graduation rates. Reading to children from birth not only helps your child, but our nation to excel. The key to future achievement in school and in life is greatly increased by the simple act of reading to children starting at infancy. Reading to infant increases literacy. Thank you.